Comments and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal, Gilbert,
and Don.
Gilbert is on his way in. He's out in Pomona, so you guys know how how traffic is in Los Angeles. It's kind of intense. Aren't you happy that you're closer? I like maneuvering where I'm 15 minutes apart.
Yes.
15 minutes apart from everything and everybody. I don't like those long commutes. That's just not me. Hey, Candace. Hey, Sean. Hey, Cassandra. How are you all? How are you? It is February 15th.
Wow, we're halfway through.
3 weeks in. I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday. I saw some people. Candace, I saw you on Facebook, so it looked like you had a good time. Me and Don, we partied last night.
Yes, we celebrated ourselves. We've been loving ourselves last night. We had chocolate and apple cider, and we danced our little hearts out. We tried not to cry.
So we were just doing the thing, dancing, Zumba. We have some other, we had some other ladies with
out, and we were doing Zumba.
And we had a good time. We had a good time, though.
Yes, we did.
I would not have asked for it to be spent any differently myself. I was cool with it. So I hope you guys had a good time as well. Let's see. Today, we're still doing, Candace says she had a really nice time. She got all kinds of hearts and all kinds of stuff. I'm glid you had a wonderful time.
It looked like she had a date, but she's married.
She's married.
So she had yes, she had a to. You're supposed to.
Yeah, she's supposed to.
Congratulations, ladies who had dates last night. And congratulations to those who found out some more exciting things about themselves last night.
Right, exactly. Loving on yourself.
Yes.
That's what we were doing.
We have to talk about that. That's a whole show.
That's a whole show, which actually is an important show. In fact, on Wednesday, I think it was, because I didn't get to go to burlesque. It was right after the digital marketing class. No, she said she wasn't. Her husband had to work. Oh, okay. Well, you were like us.
No, she still wasn't like us because she still she could celebrate the fact that she had a husband.
Oh, okay. All right. That's true.
Don't try to be like us. Stay in your own lane, Candace. Just as he was at work. You can still celebrate the fact that you have a husband.
There you go.
She gave you some hearts. That's too cute.
Yeah. So, she's laughing. So I went to a documentary on Wednesday about Dr. Pat. It was a whole thing on relationships and marriage. So this guy was doing a whole documentary. Some interesting concepts. They interviewed some 6 or 7 women. They actually talked about where marriage came about and how it came about and how we select and how men select women.
Oh, hold on now. So give me some highlights on how we supposed to select. Make sure I'm not doing this thing wrong.
So he doesn't, his is completely visual.
Visual?
Yeah, so he looks for women that have kind eyes.
Hold on.
Let me check and see your eyes kind. Small waist.
Oh, we winning. You got a small waist. You know why you have a small waist? Because your glutes and your boobs stick out further than your waist. We're still good. What else? We're still good.
So because he's looking for that nice curvy woman.
Yes, that would be me. Small curves, but curves. I like this.
And so that's really all he's looking for.
That's it?
That's it.
Where is he? You just walk by him, cover something.
Right, exactly.
Where you at, Crystal?
We, on the other hand, we're looking for some more stuff.
That's all he's looking for.
That's all he's looking for. And it's all wired into our DNA because, initially the way God intended was we were marrying to procreate, right? So
one of the reasons why we're married.
He's looking for an asymmetric face because they're actually, without them even knowing it, they're looking about the offspring, their offspring.
They're looking for what their offspring is going to look like?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
But
because there's some people who would not be married.
Well,
if they were to be thinking of what kind of mix would we make?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was my problem.
Right?
Like,
no, not that head.
And then
that head and this head, no.
And that's what women do.
That's a disaster. Oh, that's what we do.
We look at what our children look like, and we're comparing our parts and our DNA with their parts.
I don't know if that's true because I didn't do that. The man I fell in love with, I didn't do that. I took a double take because he wasn't really, visually he was not really that attractive. But when he opened his mouth and started talking to me, I just melted.
Well, and that's the other thing. So we're listening for a man.
Charming.
Yeah, he's charming, and he's saying.
When they're charming, you like everything about them, even their feet.
Yes, exactly. So that's
So be charming, guys.
Yes.
Be charming.
So that was some of the things.
Have charm.
But I did learn that marriage is not a mammal institution, that even animals, the only animals that mate for life are birds.
Okay.
But then they found out that some of them don't. But
you
penguins.
just learned this? That animals ain't in the sea mating for life?
Yeah, so
Crystal.
I didn't just learn that.
Okay.
That was in the documentary.
As smart as you are.
Yeah, in the documentary, and that we're really not set up for a monogamy.
Who's not?
That's what it says. It says that we were not meant to be mated for
life. Girl, we were meant to be until sin entered into the world. Don't get me preaching the gospel here. When sin entered the world, then everything just went haywire. We were meant to be one. With one man, one woman for life.
I'm just telling
you. And
then
Eve wouldn't just act like she had no sense whatsoever.
Well, that's
and messed it up. And I've been single ever since.
But I did hear at the very end, after it was all summarized, and they talked to all the different couples, and all the couples had different experiences, from older to younger, to some that had multiple spouses and all kinds of crazy stuff. But at the end, everybody's looking for someone that they can share their life with.
You're not lying.
Yeah. So.
I was at McDonald's earlier today trying to say, I'm sorry. I'm usually in Beverly Hills looking for somebody. That's not working. So I just said, let me just stop being so picky. And let me just go
open up
number folks go. Let me
open up my mind and my horizons.
To go to McDonald's.
See what we got there, huh?
See what happened.
So that was one of the
Maybe
things.
I might find some luck around Burger King or, Big Macs.
Big Mac. Maybe you might better want to hang out at a little upper scale fast food place. Maybe Burger King, Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr. They got a $6 burger. So you might want to hang out.
Maybe I'm being too picky.
$6 burger. Right, exactly. So that was what I did. And then I saw another great documentary I told you about. The Boss, the Black Experience in Business. Just awesome. It's all over at the Pan-African Film Fest. And then I also participated in went through and bought some earrings from the Pan-African Mall, African Mall there. So I supported and recycled my dollars with people that look like me.
That's awesome, Crystal, because that's what you're supposed to do as one of the founders of, but as one of the directors of Recycle Black Dollars. If I catch you spending money anywhere else, I'm going to blast you on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
No, I did my shopping there, some earrings, and I took my sister. She had never actually been to the Pan-African Film Fest. So she was enjoying. So we're going to go back over there Saturday. A couple of my clients are over there, a couple of individuals that are in the digital marketing class, and so I'm going to support them. They had their art on display over there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how was your week?
Well, my week was good. My week was actually great. Well, I danced my little heart out last night, trying to not think about the fact that it was Valentine's Day, but at the same time celebrate my love for myself. So that's what happened yesterday.
Okay, all right.
And that was what, Thursday?
That was Thursday.
I just been working hard all week.
Yeah.
Just working hard, creating my stuff, so that I could spend more time with you.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's cool.
And get here a little early.
Yeah. I know, huh? I've had a busy week because taking in all the regular stuff that I do and then adding on the Black History stuff.
Yeah.
I've been out probably every evening, which is normally not the case. Usually I'm out at my workout classes and I haven't even been able to get them because everything's been in bed.
So much to do. I had to just start saying no to some things so I can get what I have on my plate finished.
Yeah.
So I can't hang out with you all the time, Crystal. I had to say no to some. Yeah, because I get behind.
Yeah.
I need to finish this because there's a whole lot of money waiting for me when this is done.
You gotta I can't and
I can't be everywhere. And then I'm speaking coming up.
So when are you speaking?
My date was pushed back because of we're waiting on a couple of phone calls, so I'm speaking next weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting ready for that, and that's a whole lot.
Okay.
Itself, you know.
I spoke this past Saturday with the coalition.
I heard you were awesome.
Yes, it was really nice. Great women. The coalition of 100 Black women, amazing organization, and I'm looking forward to our Bella Network doing some collaborative stuff with them. Those ladies are just on point. So.
Right.
That'll be really, really good. And I just everybody was just so nice. And so that was really cool. And then tomorrow I speak at Jefferson High.
Right.
Or as my co-director or friends say, Jeff High, to some young kids about entrepreneurship. So
That's the one that I'm going to, right?
That's the one you're going
What
to.
time does that start?
That we have.
Because I have to start getting dressed at like 6 in the morning.
Well, you can dress because these are kids. So we have to be there by no later than 12.
Oh, awesome.
I'll
so I
send
can go
you
to
the
church.
address.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll send you the address for that. So that should be pretty cool. And we want to do some stuff for kids anyway, so we can. That'll be a great time to establish some relationships over there.
Yes.
Because that'll be the kind of kids that needs to be exposed to
Crystal, you
new
can't
ideas.
be on the air telling everybody all the stuff that we're doing until we start to do it. You kind of let the cat out of the bag every time.
I do.
I'm going to have to prep you before the show.
Oh, okay.
What to say and what not to say.
Well, I got a biz camp coming up, so
We have a biz camp. Why is it always about you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have a biz camp coming up in June. So
It's terrible.
June
She
and
treats
July.
me so bad.
So here's being it's Black History Month, I went and did my Black History research for today's show.
That's what you do.
And that's what I do, right? So we're not going to read all 30 of them, but there are 30 reasons to thank Black people.
Right.
For the inventions and innovations that they have brought to America. So some of them are quite surprising. The first one up on the list is the automatic gear shift. So we all use that every single day when we're driving our vehicle.
Thank the Lord, because the shift stick is when I first learned how to drive. I took my driver's license in a shift stick car. And as much as I loved it, I have to tell you, I wouldn't be able to do some of the things I do today. We can't text and drive.
No, you can't text and drive.
Some of the pleasures of life that we see right now, we can't.
But let me ask you, I actually prefer the manual. Because it gave me more control of the car, and I felt I was really driving.
Oh, yeah. Control is what you don't need, Crystal.
Yeah, so that was, I loved it.
But yeah, I like driving the stick shift.
Yeah, and I had a truck that was a stick shift. Yeah, I actually went out and looked for it.
Really?
So the guy that invented the stick shift, his name was Richard Spikes, and he did that in 1932.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Awesome.
2 is America's first clock. So we should always be on time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that was Benjamin Banneker. I didn't know that. I knew about him. Yeah. He was a farmer, mathematician, astronomer, land surveyor, and the subject of a Stevie Wonder song. Number 3 on the is the automatic elevator doors. So we couldn't even get in and out of buildings and get up to next floors if it had not been for us.
Elevator doors. So who invented? They didn't invent the elevator. They invented the elevator doors.
So his name was Alexander Miles.
So what was the doors like? Oh, probably the gate.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
And they remember they had to pull it.
Yes.
Right.
So thank Black people for the doors.
Right. Now, how about this?
Very important.
Very important, so that you don't have to pull it. Then they had to have elevator people.
Yes. Yeah, and then they used to do like this.
Right, exactly. So we modernized the elevator doors.
We are so cool. We do all the cool stuff. We created doors. You didn't know that.
And
Thank you, Gilbert.
Hey, Gilbert, welcome. And the blimp.
The blimp.
So that was John Pickling. He was the first blimp to have an electric motor and had directional controls, and Goodyear better have this man's picture in their lobby.
Wow.
So I don't know if they do, and I never ever heard. Have you ever heard that?
No, didn't hear.
So the blimp. Yep. So number 5 is the blood bank. So now this one I did know. Yeah, Dr. Charles Drew.
That's right, Charles Drew.
Yeah, he was the first black man to the method of separating and storing plasma.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome.
We are so smart.
And that's Dr. Drew. Charles Drew Hospital is named after him. Now look at this one.
Are you serious?
The clothes dryer. So the clothes dryer was in 1892, George Sampson.
Did they say why they invented those things?
Giving laundry. Well, I would assume anything to do with them.
Sick of doing other people's clothes, right?
Right. So I would say, anything to do.
I can see that being created by a black
We're
person.
sick of doing other people's laundry.
Anything that had anything to do with household goods or household supplies.
Anything
we
to do with domestic work, we invented.
We did that.
So the dustpan.
Yes.
That was Lloyd Ray. Electric lamp.
Come on, black people. Folding chairs.
Gas
heating furnace, because we had to go out to get the wood, right?
And just so our audience know,
funny.
all of this is going to be on our website, so you can tap in and see it.
So yeah, anything to do with making, and that's what business is about, right?
Oh, yeah.
What do you always say? Why do you start a business?
You want to make sure that you take the shortest distance between two spaces.
Right, and if it can solve a pain or an unmet need, that is the definition of what entrepreneurs do.
Entrepreneurship,
So all of these are that.
Definitely pain.
Yeah.
The gas mask, Garrett Morgan, he started, this was started when he rescued a trapped miner wearing a hood to protect his eyes from smoke and had tubes leading to the floor.
See, another reason why that was created, that mask right there, they used to use us as guinea pigs, right?
Yeah.
They sent us in those mines. You know, now they're using the canary, the bird. They used to send us in there to find out if the air was okay or not.
Right, exactly.
So my brother here decided, hey, I'm not going to die like the people before me.
I'm creating the gas mask. Now, Trump should really love us because this one was created, the golf tee, by Dr. George Grant. He was an avid golfer, but not a great one. Hopefully his patent improved his game. The home security system, we spoke on her last week. Her name is Maria Van Britton Brown, and television has been part of a home security system. So I read about her last week. She actually is a nurse, or was a nurse, and her home was broken into. So she wanted to be able to check her home when she wasn't there. So ADP and any other security system, this is her patent.
And they keep breaking into her house multiple times, so she wanted to know who it was.
The fact that they said he wasn't a great golfer, right? He was an avid golfer, but he wasn't a great one.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you have to be an expert in sport to see a need and actually create something that change your life in the industry. Right. So that's kind of
maybe he wasn't great because he couldn't get it off. It needed to be elevated, so he saw
he realized what he needed.
Right, what he needed. The ice cream scooper.
Wow.
And that was invented in 1897 by Alfred L. Crawley. The ironing board, and I'm sure the iron, Sarah Boone, and I'm sure it was the iron because the Blackfoots, remember the metal black. And
back in the day, we used to use those one where you just open it, you put coal in it, you light the coal, get it started.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
You never heard? That was way back. I was way back.
Really?
So you put the coal in the thing, you light it, and there's steam coming out, and you're ironing with it.
Oh, I only knew about my grandmother had the metal one, and which was created or designed by a blacksmith, and then you would put it on the heater, and then it would get hot, and then you would rub it on.
This one was made out of cast iron.
Yeah, cast iron.
I remember that.
So that was that. So her name, the iron board was Sarah Boone. The lawnmower. And this is by John Albert Burr. Wow. And he created that.
You notice most of these came into being to alleviate manual labor, because the manual labor is being done by us.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Lawn sprinklers. Joseph A. Smith. But they don't give us the recognition from all of that.
No, they're not going to.
No, not at all. Not any of it.
The mailbox.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Philip Downing. Before this invention, people had to make long trips
to the post office. Black people. Tell the truth. Black people had to make the long trips.
And you see who benefits from it now?
Yes.
The federal government, because now it's a federal crime to touch any of those.
Right, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
So we should definitely have reparations.
We should.
Okay.
I want my 40 acres and a mule.
Modern lock.
Right.
That was Washington Martin. His patent improved on the 4,000-year-old Chinese boat. So he actually improved on something. The toilet.
I'm not surprised.
The flush one?
This guy, Thomas
Did
Aikens.
they put a story behind it? Because I want to hear this. I think the story would be good.
Let's see. He influenced several major patents, but this one we appreciate most, not to knock the multi-table or the refrigerator or for dead bodies. I will research more on him. I had never heard that. Yeah. The mop. Yeah, I tell you, anything that was domestic.
Manual labor, I'm telling you.
Pacemaker.
Yeah.
We talked about him last week, and there's more details. The portable pencil sharpener. Probably a teacher did
I remember
that.
those.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yes.
Yeah. A carpenter, clever with names for his invention, calling this one the Love Sharpener. His name was John Lee Love. Potato
chips.
George Crumb. You have to love his last name is Crumb. So Crumb. Reversible baby strollers, again, domestics. This guy was William Richardson. He also, the reason wheels move separately, we feel certain those were fewer crying babies in the world because of this man.
Right.
And then this one we
You've
talked
heard
about.
that story, right?
Yeah, we know about the Super Soaker.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the story behind the Super Soaker?
You know, he's an engineer, and this one actually... Didn't he have to sue or fight for his patent?
His money.
So what happened? Why did he come up with the Super Soaker?
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, just a toy for kids. I don't know why.
Toy, but he had other patents. We talked about him as well.
Because since most of these came out of simplification.
Let's see why. Because I actually have him on another thread down here.
We're almost at 30, huh?
Yeah, we're almost suspenders. That is, they don't even say who that is. Thermostat and temperature control, Frederick Jones. The touch telephone is by a woman, Dr. Shirley Ann Johnson.
Awesome. And the traffic light.
The traffic light.
You didn't know that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Gary Morgan. So now let me give you some history on Mr. Lonnie, because that's who you want to know about why he did that, right? So Lonnie with the Super Soakers. Yeah. This was the story.
Because there has to be something. If I were coming up with that, is because there are people, pestering on my property, and I wanted to.
Well, basically it says Lonnie Johnson, the man that gave us the famous water gun, the Super Soaker, he wasn't a toy maker. He was actually an aerospace engineer for NASA with a resume boosting a stint with the U.S. Air Force, working on Galileo Jupiter probe and Mars Observer project, and more than 40 patents. Yes, he was also working on the Johnson ferroelectric energy converter, which converts heat directly into electricity, but it's the squirt gun he created that has given us all the joy. So maybe he just wanted to do something fun.
Yeah, but most of these guys, they don't create this for toy purposes. You see what I'm saying? It's usually because they want to simplify a manual labor
process. So we got to do a little bit more investigation on Lonnie.
I know what I would use it for, but...
okay, we'll find out why Lonnie he came up with that. Yeah. So
I guarantee he's trying to keep someone away from his property.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, because that's what I would use it for.
But those are
bleach in it.
Too funny.
But those are our inventors and 30 reasons why people should love black people.
Crystal, you're very innovative. Very, very innovative. I mean,
like
this is stuff we talk about all the time, but we never actually get to see it and know who created it.
Right.
And you found this.
I did.
This is phenomenal.
But because here's the thing. My sister, there's a documentary on, and I don't know what channel because she watches all documentaries, so this may be a PBS, I'm not sure. But that's all she really watches. And she's been watching a show on regular blue collar billionaires, and these individuals created things the lawn sprinkler. They've created businesses out of trucking companies, regular stuff, blue collar, like Warren Buffett kind of creation, because Warren Buffett, there's a quote. He says, when you think about business, think about the thing that takes place every single day that a person has to use. So paper towel, napkins, paper
having
plate,
to do with eating,
because a silverware, because those are things that people are using every day, and they're going to replace over time.
And that's a good point you're bringing up, because a lot of our entrepreneurs, they go into business thinking they can create some seasonal stuff, and then it's going to be very successful. It's very rare that seasonal stuff really hits.
Or stuff that you want to think of things that people buy all the time, right? And they repeatedly buy because they have to have. Anything in the kitchen, you're going to repeatedly use, right?
Yeah, like a passport holder. You're only going to need that every 10 years.
Every 10 years, right. So we try to go into the extremes and things that are not used all the time. But the everyday basics, like today we have our guest, Dr. Davis, and cosmetology, hair. You got to use some product, some hair. You go get your hair. You do your hair every day. And women put on makeup every day.
That's right.
So you want to create businesses that somebody's doing something with every single day.
Right.
With that being said, we're at the bottom of the hour. So did you want to go ahead and take a break, Crystal?
Yes, let's take a break and we'll bring up our first guest.
And for those of you who are listening, you're just tuning into the Business Zone. Our number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. You're listening to the Business Zone with
Crystal,
Dawn,
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186. Meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal,
Don,
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, we've got some very special guests in the studio
we
today,
do
right?
actually. Yeah, we do. I'm very happy to have both of these individuals in the studio today.
And we've been hearing a lot about them. They've been doing outstanding work in their field. And since this is Black History Year.
year. It's the life of the Black people.
So we want to make sure that we give them some props to big them up.
So Dr. Stella Davis. Now, there's a little story here. She was not aware that I knew her. She just actually, we all made a connection. She came to a Recycling Black Dollars breakfast mixer. But I had heard about her years before by a good friend of mine who was also in the beauty industry. He was a celebrity hairstylist, and so she was his guru while he was building his dream.
Oh wow!
And so I knew her. He talked about her all the time as he was building out his business, but we had never had an opportunity to meet during that time. And then I think we were talking at the meeting, and she said something about the beauty industry, and then I tied her name and went, wait a minute, are you? So this is Dr. Stella Davis, and she is in the beauty cosmetology industry. She's an educator. She at school operations, she's owned her own salon. She has branding skills and compliance management for the beauty industry and training and education. She was a director at Paul Mitchell, the school.
Nice. Very nice.
And as well as her own salon. She owned her own salon. And now she actually has her own school.
Very good.
And it's called the Christian Cosmetology International Association.
You know, that's what I was going to ask you, if she has her own school. With all that qualifications,
she's off the
gotta
chain
have her own
here.
school.
So you know, one of the, just talking to her, you know, you guys know what my favorite business that we need to be taking over is, right? And so it was perfect when I met her because she has all the education. She already has the school. We just need to plug in the curriculum and then start building on that.
And we need to start having a little commercial of you on here.
Right. So welcome, welcome, Stella. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I've been looking forward to this time with you here at the Business Zone. So thank you for that great introduction. I don't know if I can live up to all of that, but I will.
I think you already have.
I will certainly try.
Welcome
because
to the Business Zone.
In the industry, finding individuals that have reached certain pinnacles in the cosmetology in our community,
right? Because
even though that's a area that we should be commanding, and when we look over our history, because you were there at the Black Experience, did you notice the strand? Everything, majority of the women were in the hair industry, and they were billionaires. They became millionaires and billionaires. Madam CCIA Walker was a millionaire, but I didn't know. I guess I maybe had heard of the lady that actually taught her.
Malone.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Madam C.J. Walker really took it to the next level when she started her school and her product line, as well as teaching the women how to go out and be entrepreneurs and, you know, earn money for themselves and be successful in the industry. So what made her really popular or become a millionaire is that she had the products. She had the team of women as she taught them to go out and she taught them how to do hair, as well as sell the product, which is something that we can talk about, the retail end of it that sometimes we miss out on. But yeah, she was the one that really broke the ceiling, broke the glass ceiling, being the first African-American millionaires in the beauty industry.
Yeah, and when I was listening to the story, so I was telling Don, and I didn't tell you, at the Pan-African Film Fest, there is an amazing documentary that's called Boss, The Black Experience in Business, and it goes back to the emancipation of slavery and the businesses that we created. Yeah. So they highlighted those and the success that we had created during that time. Yeah. And so, but what I got from when they were, and I had never heard this, maybe because I hadn't read her story, that Madam C.J. Walker was really like a Mary Kay.
Yes, she was. She was like the first Mary Kay. Before Mary Kay even became popular or well known as someone to teach women how to become entrepreneurs with their own product line. Madam C.J. Walker was a beginning, because she was back in the 1800s when she started her first business. And then, as you could see from the documentary that we watched on Boss, the gentleman that took the product line has now relaunched it and is starting to move forward with Madam C.J. Walker products again.
Right, because that was the guy that his family, the Shea Moisture, right?
Yeah, Richelieu.
Richelieu, and yes. I heard about him from Sean from Scott Juliet. That's how I first heard about that product line. Yeah. He absolutely loved it, and he said he used that when he was doing hair.
Okay.
That was the first time, and then when I did my research, they had been around for several decades, actually.
Yes. Well, the actual product, the Madam C.J. product line, had been around, but he relaunched it. And, new packaging, new marketing, all into a whole. He brought it into the general market, so it's not just in the professional line anymore.
That's phenomenal. And he also, one of the things I just read about him is that he purchased Madam C.J. Walker's home. And now he's developed, that's going to be a beauty institute for young women to teach them how. And then he bought the house in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he just did that like about 2 months ago.
Oh, that's great. Well, her name is synonymous with business, with the beauty industry, with millionaire. Just the word millionaire for African Americans back in the 1800s, that right there says that she was before her time.
Trailblazer.
Trailblazer,
she trailblazer.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Davis, tell me this. Every entrepreneurship is a journey. We all know that.
Yes, it is.
And every entrepreneur has a story.
Oh, yes.
What's your story? Well, how did you get started? Why did you get started?
Well, my story began with my mother, who is a licensed cosmetologist and has been for probably about 65 years now. And she had an aunt who was in the beauty industry. This was in Mississippi, back in the 40s. And when my mother and father moved to California, my mother decided she would go to beauty school in 1955, and she went to Henrietta's. That was one of the first African American beauty schools here in Southern California, owned by Mr. John Williams' mother. I don't know if you know John Williams. He owns the beauty college here.
John down the street right there.
Yeah, it's like it was his great grandparents, wasn't it?
Well, it was his mother that actually started the school, and my mother attended the school.
Oh, wow.
She was a student there.
Wow.
And growing up, I never really wanted to become a cosmetologist, or I didn't want anything to do with the beauty industry, because I saw my mother work so hard for such a small amount of money. I said, no, this is not for me. I have bigger dreams. I want to do something, like be a doctor or a lawyer. But as it worked out, I decided at some point, right after I got out of high school, to join Marinello's in Pasadena.
Okay.
And in 1971, I graduated.
Okay.
And then went on to, I really did not want to work, unfortunately, but this worked out to my advantage. I wanted to work in a white salon because of the experience I had growing up with my mother, working so hard, seeing looking as if she was not in an industry that was very glamorous.
Right.
Even
Right.
though it was to glamorize people, it
Right.
wasn't very glamorous
Yes.
what she was doing. It was hard work.
Right.
So I went to Magnus in Beverly Hills. I worked in all the major white salons. I worked in I started out in Magnus Beverly Hills, and I went to San Francisco, Magnus, but most of my career was in mostly white salons.
Okay.
Until I had a rude awakening after I really discovered that I really was black. And, and I said, no, I became in touch with my blackness. That's what it really was. And that was when I moved to Chicago, because that city is very pro-black.
That's the Mecca. That's
that
the
was
Mecca
when
right
Oprah
there.
was getting started, Michael Jordan, the first black mayor. What was his name? Mayor. I can't.
Was it Kwame?
No. This
he's
guy
from
had been. He
Detroit.
was like he was part of royalty in the black.
Yes.
Oh gosh, his name was right on.
Harold.
Because he's actually, there's a couple of statues and there's some monuments in Chicago because his family were legendary in Chicago.
Right, and Jesse Jackson was popular, and I was going to see. My black experience in Chicago really got me in touch with who I am as an African American woman. So after I moved back to California from living in Chicago, that's when I opened my first salon. And I actually started working with John Atchison, who is a legend in the cosmetology industry.
So what was it called, the first salon?
My first salon? Well, I started with John. I was his manager, and then I bought his salon, and it was called Stella by Starlight. So, of course, that's kind of my tag name, but that was when I worked with John, because he was the first manager with Fidel Sassoon back in New York. So he was, and still is, an awesome hair cutter. I mean, he really took our craft to a whole nother level, knowing that we could cut hair as well as any other culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And the styles that he created. So I became really engrossed in hair cutting and learning all about that skill, and that's really how I became very well known in the industry as a hair cutter. So after my experience of owning salons and traveling around, and I worked with Glimby International, traveled all over the country teaching hairstylists, makeup, hair, nails, all of the things that we use to glamorize ourselves. Then later, I started working for Paul Mitchell, the school, which is well known. They have over 100 schools throughout the country, and I became their director of their school in Sherman Oaks, and hired, trained, taught all the instructors, worked with the students, built the school up to by the time I left there, our student body was about 350. We started with about 20 students. So my whole experience with Paul Mitchell was really in the area of education, and I just really had just a passion. But in the meantime, while all this was still going on, I was developing my own nonprofit organization, and that began in '89. So my career in hair and my ministry all kind of moved simultaneously together, but I was doing both. So in '89, I graduated from the School of Ministry, and during the time when I was in the School of Ministry, I began to ask the Lord what was my purpose. Okay, Lord, what is it that you really have for me to do? I'm a hairstylist. Now you call me to ministry. And that's when he said, I'm going to combine your ministry and your skill and your craft together. And that's when the Christian Cosmetology International Association was born.
So then you no longer had
Stella by Starlight.
Stella by Starlight.
Well, I did. At that time, I was moving into a whole nother. Stella by Starlight was in the 90s. And I had started going to school in '89. So around that time, but after I became a minister of the gospel, that became my priority. So I started preaching and traveling and teaching and going to hair shows. And, we would have our booths set up, and I would talk to stylists about How to Turn Your Talents into Dollars. I wrote a book on how to turn your talents into dollars. And I started sharing the word about how important it was for us as hairstylists in the marketplace to be able to use our gifts and talents to share the word.
Yes.
But in a way that was very unconventional, because initially I thought, well, once God called me to ministry, I said, well, I know that means that I'm going to be behind the pulpit. I'm going to be a pastor. I'm going to be teaching the word. But he said, no, this is a marketplace ministry.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a rude awakening for me because I really felt like I wasn't doing enough. But God began to show me how the ministry and how people were getting saved, healed, delivered, and set free. And, you know, I can share that working with people like John Atchison, who's now an elder in the church, and many of the people that the Lord had me to minister to and work with and work in their salons and minister to, they are now doing great things in Christendom.
And they got to see your life on a regular basis as opposed to just on a Sunday service.
Exactly.
So that's the best way to minister to
Let
someone.
your light so shine before men so that they would see your good works and
begin
glorify your Father in heaven. So in the schools, I was able to, they allowed me to minister to the students, to share with them. Even at Paul Mitchell, can you believe it?
They allowed that?
They allowed it,
good.
yes, to pray with them because they felt like, you know, I was an asset, not just with the skills that I had, but also with counseling them, making sure that they really knew what their purpose was. And, you know, that was a blessing as well. So I've had a very, very extensive career in the beauty industry.
Very good.
And
48 years I've had my license.
Phenomenal. And I think because a lot of times some young ladies or men get the calling for that because they just have that natural talent. My mom was also in the hair business, and that's how she had the very first hair salon in Memphis, Tennessee, a black one. And but that's how she raised us. She became a nurse when we moved to the north, but she always did hair on the side. So I never had my hair done outside of my mother's house.
I mean,
until I was
isn't
an
that
adult.
most of our stories? Somebody in the family did hair, and now my daughter, who's celebrating her 25th year as a licensed cosmetologist, I've passed the baton to her. So she's now the president of the association. I'm the founder. So she's in North Carolina. She just launched her first salon for women and girls that really can't afford the to get their hair done. So she is offering scholarships. She's offering services to women, and she's also she teaches self-esteem classes, and she'll be out here, as a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks to celebrate my 70th birthday as well.
Happy birthday!
Absolutely phenomenal. You look great.
Look, man, she's a beautiful lady. But
Yes,
you
you
know.
are.
And them seeing you, and I think a lot of young women that get into it's almost like it's the last resort, right? They're not college material.
Right.
They can't go out and do construction or anything. So usually, the easy resort is I like to do hair, I like beauty, I like makeup. I'll go to cosmetology.
I think now this generation is a little different because of social media. It's glamorous. They want to go to cosmetologists. They want to do hair. It's not a last resort for them.
Not anymore.
It's so much
changed.
Back then it was.
But
now the industry is so different. But I want to say the fact that you're an entrepreneur, you've established yourself really well in the industry with the changes that's taking place in the hair industry. Now they're going to be graduating from school and they have to have a solid business.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
The booth renting in the moment is going to be.
It's already done in California.
Yes. They definitely.
They're making a soft transition even here, But my girlfriends, I'm seeing people who made money on these salons are getting ready to take some serious hits. They're trying to figure out how to teach entrepreneur skills to their what do you call it? The booth renters.
Right.
People are just changing business.
Oh, yes. The industry has changed. I mean, in the almost 50 years that I've been in the industry, I've seen it evolve and change and grow. And But right now, in terms of
Major
the African American stylists, yes, because most of us, after getting out of school, we didn't go. Well, I did. I was very fortunate to go and work for a company that provided all the benefits, vacations, training, development, and but nowadays you don't find too many of the stylists. They mainly when they get out of school, if they go to school, because braiders don't even have to go to school now, they want to be independent.
Yeah, we go to school to be an entrepreneur.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem that I find is that if you don't set up a financial stability for yourself, when you are in the business after 5, 10, 20 years, then what do you have to fall back on? And let's not talk about getting injured or in an accident or getting hurt, because we use our bodies. And if you don't have any kind of insurance or disability or Social Security or something, you're going to be in a situation where you might have to go out and drive Uber or do something completely different. So, I've always been of the mindset that you have to diversify. You can't just stand behind the chair, because eventually your body is going to command that you do something other than stand behind the chair 10, 12, 14 hours a day, which I've done in the past. But fortunately, because of my love of education, I was able to get into a teaching position where I worked for a corporation. Was able to, retire with some form of benefits, not at the very pinnacle, because they don't offer pensions anymore. And if you don't have a 401k or something to fall back on, then you're in trouble. So my advice to these young ladies that are graduating from school is you have to have something other than just your skill of doing hair. Right now, I'm in several different businesses. I have a real estate license, insurance license. I still have my cosmetology license, but I did all that while I was still in the business.
The schools aren't teaching them how to be entrepreneurs.
No,
they're not teaching them how to set up their business. They're graduating and have the skill of cutting hair, but they don't know how to run a business.
Exactly, and that's
where Crystal and we come in.
That's where that's really unfortunate. But it's going to be very vital for them to learn business skills, or they won't survive.
They won't survive. In fact, there are many windows of opportunity for those that are already in the cosmetology. And I think I've spoken to you on the beauty supply stores, because a lot of the Koreans, as I said, are looking to retire, and now they're selling their existing businesses. So I did some research, and there are about 450 stores, not just Dr. Robinson, but there are a number of entities out there that are helping cosmetology go back to school to become business owners. So some of those windows of opportunity that we need to look at. And you saw this from a Paul Mitchell standpoint in all the white salons that you worked in, because retail was huge. That's where they make their bread and butter.
Absolutely.
Is on the retail. But some of the other opportunities out there are creating products, which we have seen of just an influx of products
especially for natural hair.
Yes. And they're anticipating that to be $150 million industry.
Oh yes.
And that's with your beauty and personal care and styling and appliance applications.
Yes.
Tools, because you're working in it.
Yes.
And then the other area is supply chain management, beauty supply stores, beauty care salons, and spa franchises.
Yes.
And that's huge, because that's one of my dream businesses. I actually have a plan all written out. I have a partner already lined up to open up a day spa here in town. It would be in town, out of town. So the name is Farrell's. So I've been to all the beauty conventions for the last 15 years, because we've been working on this, because she's taking care of her mom.
Yes.
The schools, like what you're doing, and then specialty niches. When we look at our hair and the variety that we do with wigs and extensions and weaves and crochet and all of that sort of stuff, that's massive.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Oh, yes. Those skills that you just mentioned, they have really taken over our industry. I mean, you find most African American women now, unless they are wearing their hair natural, they either are have a weave or a wig or some form of braids, because
you're just frustrated like me trying to figure out.
but hair has become like an accessory, right? It's like,
Exactly.
I have my jewels,
Today,
I have my jewelry, I have my watch, and I have my room of hair.
That's right. Yes, you can go blonde today, and tomorrow you can go purple and green and any color that you want. And that's one of the things that has really, I would say, hurt the industry from the standpoint of women that just want to get a haircut, a relaxer, just a nice color, because there are some stylists out there that still are into hair care, that just want to, be able to enhance a woman's natural hair. But what you find is most of us, like myself, it's easier to slap on a wig.
So much easier.
And keep on stepping.
Wigs don't really look that well on me. Seriously, every time I wear a wig, I got a wig made, and Michael made a wig for me, and it was amazing. You had no idea it was a wig. I don't know what happened to Michael. Sorry, Michael. He's been making wigs perfectly for everyone else, but when it comes to me, I think he lost his touch. The last wig he made me look like a helmet. I was like, they just don't look good on me anymore. It looks like I have a wig on, so they don't really work.
Yeah, my head is not shaped on mine.
Well, when you look at YouTube nowadays, you see a lot of the wigs are very natural looking. I mean, nowadays with the lace fronts and the way the wigs are made, you can't even really tell they're wigs.
But I'm trying to look like me. So I want something short. I want something short, so the short wigs look wiggish. The longer wigs look great.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to be Crystal tomorrow and Dawn. Long and short, long and short. I'm trying to be me. I'm not trying to lie to these men out here. Take off my hair, take off my leg. I'm trying to be as natural as I can.
Well, one thing about wigs, too, see, you can go with a wig that can cost thousands of dollars. I mean, I'm sure the hair that Beyonce wears is not,
I bought an $800 wig before.
Well, okay.
And it still didn't fit.
Well, it's not so much the fit, it's the hair. First of all, it's the texture of the hair. I mean, you can get hair from Brazil, from India. There's all different types and textures of hair. But then, not only that, once you get the hair, it has to be placed properly, and then it has to be cut and styled to your face. So there's more than just buying a wig and putting it on. The wig has to be customized for you. And then there's wigs that are made of, really, really great hair, or hair that's going to cost a lot of money. Then you can go to the wig store and buy a wig for $25, So there's such a large gamut, and a lot of women, they don't want to spend a lot of money on a wig or hair. They just want to use it as an accessory. But if you want a really, really good wig, you're going to have to get the hair. You're going to have to invest. Yeah, you're going to have to really invest.
Have it.
Crystal does her own hair, and she's great at it.
And I don't, my head is weird, so it doesn't do wigs well, but braids is my thing.
You do your own hair?
I do my own hair.
Wow, you do a great job.
Yeah.
She changes it up. I just admire her.
I call her Queen Nefertiti.
She does. And she was amazing.
But we're at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then on the other side of the break, we'll talk a little bit more about what you've been doing and how you're helping other small businesses.
All right.
Okay, so you're on the Business Zone with
Crystal,
Dawn,
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. For those of you who are listening and really want to get into the hair and beauty industry, give us a call. Our number here is 323-293-3375, 323-293-3375. Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Christo,
Dawn,
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic, and our very, very special guest in the studio, Dr. Stella Davis, the guru in hair and cosmetics.
Oh, thank you. I'll accept that. I received that.
So you indicated you had written a couple books, How to Use Your Talent.
Well, the book that I wrote is How to Turn Your Talents into Dollars.
Oh yeah,
And
I like that.
I'm gonna relaunch. I mean, it's I haven't really been selling my book for a long time because after I wrote it, I realized that it needed so much more. So I'm gonna be relaunching my book coming out very, very soon. There's another book that we were able to be published in. It's called From the Kitchen to the Parlor. And it was,
nice.
Yes, one of my clients, very early when we started doing ministry in the salon, she would come in. She was actually writing her dissertation. She's a PhD at USC in anthropology, but her mother was a stylist, and so she would come in and she recorded us and wrote a whole chapter in her book on the Christian Cosmetology International Association.
you wrote a whole chapter?
She wrote the chapter on the ministry.
Very nice.
awesome.
Yes,
Very nice.
and so she's allowed me to use that as well. Mainly what I do now is online on my website. I do a lot of ministry online. My website is www.christccia.org. So a couple of things that I do is I minister to people online. I consult with them online on my website. Any questions that they have about the industry or ministry, or they want to pray. So it's been a blessing to be able to use social media. I'm all over Facebook. Mainly, I have my personal Facebook page, also my Christian Cosmetology International, and there's probably at least 500 partners and members that log on to hear what we're talking about in terms of the industry.
That's great.
Or
do you have a blog?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I have a blog.
Did you obtain it through Lady Crystal?
She already had
I
hers.
already had the blog.
But we're going to help her monetize.
Yeah, she can help you with that.
That's the next step, to monetize the blog.
Yeah,
so
that's what we've been doing, working with small businesses. Crystal is a guru who helps them with their blog or vlog, right?
Yeah.
Well, video is vlog, but hers.
But
is
do you
vlog.
do videos too? Video vlogs?
It's not as lucrative as a written blog because you need keywords in order to drive it through the.
So my mistake, blog.
Blog, right? So that's how you really derive your But it's all part of it, right? So it's a whole digital marketing platform that can help expand your business.
Yes.
But I think definitely you're needed, and I think we're missing from when we think about African American and Black people and how to create billionaires and millionaires.
Yes.
That's an industry that is definitely open for that.
Yes.
And we need to sit and embrace them because that's a $7.5 billion industry.
Yes,
that would change
probably
more, and that would change communities, right?
Yes.
But we need to educate our cosmetologists.
Yes, and barbers.
And barbers.
Yes.
They need to be educated on building scalable Fortune 500 businesses like Paul Mitchell and Vidal Sassoon and
Tony and Guy and
all those guys.
Yes.
Right? 'Cause the talent is there.
It's there. The talent is there. It's just the business acumen has not been really taught. And I think now that a lot of these millennials now, they really want to go into their own business.
Sure.
They're very
they
independent.
don't want to work for anyone.
Right. I have 5 I call them my grown grandkids from 20 to 28. 3 Howard graduates, one that's graduating from Clark in May, and then my granddaughter, she is graduating from Cal State Long Beach. She runs track. But they all have this entrepreneurial mindset.
That's awesome.
Even though they have their college degrees, they're doing photography, they have all these other entities that they're building themselves. And it's very exciting because they've been very helpful with me in my entrepreneurial endeavors as well, especially with social media and things like that. But on another note, I'm going to be with Doris Mosley. Doris Mosley is the executive director of Spectrum International Beauty Expo, and that's coming up the 24th and 25th of this month. She'll have educators from all over the country that will be attending. And I will be hosting the Power Breakfast that's going to be on the 25th.
Very good.
At the expo. And that's one of the things I do, speaking engagements, hosting events, and Doris, and we're one of the sponsors. The Christian Cosmetology Association is one of the sponsors of the Spectrum International Beauty Expo. And we'll have a booth there, and we'll be sharing with people about the ministry, about the association. Also, those that want to sign up for any of the classes that are going to be held there. They're going to be not just educational classes on skills, but also business classes as well.
Okay.
And so that's another area that I'm really passionate about, because I know education is really the key to the success of most of these people that are in the industry. The way they've been able to sustain themselves is through education.
Yeah.
Because what you learn in school is not enough to sustain you if you want to stay in the industry, for any amount of time. So
and you got to be able to pivot as to how the industry is changing. So what's the cost of this?
The cost, I believe the tickets are the breakfast I know is going to be $35. If you purchase your ticket in advance, it's $35 at the door. It's $45 for the breakfast. But the actual cost of getting in the show. I know they have some package deals, but it says tickets are on sale now.
What day
they can go. This is going to be Sunday, the 24th, and Monday, the 25th of February, like next weekend.
Yeah,
The
so
24th?
you're speaking on the 24th. That's the same time you're speaking in it.
No, I'm speaking on the 25th, that Monday.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm hosting the breakfast.
What
think
time
I'd like to come
what time's
in.
the 24th start?
The Sunday? That's going to be the actual show itself with the convention,
Okay, I'd
where
love to
you'll
come
be able
on
to
that
come
day.
in, and there'll be vendors on the floor. But then classes are going to be taking place all day on Sunday and Monday.
Okay.
Yes, but Monday is the power breakfast. So we're excited about that. Like I said, my daughter is going to be here. She has her own line of product, Idella Purnell, named after her two great grandmothers.
Fantastic.
Yes, and then my grandson, he's a barber. He's a graduate of Howard University, but he started cutting hair when he was a student. Yes, so we have 4 generations of hairstylists and barbers in our family. And really, in our family altogether, we've got about 12 family members that are in the beauty industry.
Dr. Davis, we're definitely going to have to get you back on this show. Because
Yes,
there's
you have.
So much
and I'm going to be there on the 25th.
Yes,
great.
there's so much information that you have that you want to disseminate to our audience, and it's just not enough. So we're going to have all of this on our website.
And actually, I would like to, I would like to meet for us to get together, because I really think that far as preparing individuals to be able to purchase, and I actually have some people that are investors that are looking to invest and purchase the supply stores, and then we train them so that they can manage them with an opportunity to purchase them.
I'm
Phenomenal.
ready.
So let's do that, because
Yes.
we got to talk about some definitive changes and industries that that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right? We already are there. We just need to teach them how to be successful.
Gonna have to do some guerrilla takeover.
Yeah,
right?
we got no more talking.
No more talking. It's
No more
time
talking.
for the takeover.
So we want to thank Dr. Davis for being on the show, speaking so eloquently and knowledgeably about all of this great information. And again, most of this information can be obtained on our website at the Business Zone.
Yes.
And just give us a call, log in, go to YouTube, and you'll find this information. And Dr. Davis, how can they find you again?
They can go to my website, which is www.christccia.org, or they can log on to my Facebook page, Stella Spicer Davis at Facebook. Also, Christian Cosmetology International Association, Facebook. Instagram, Christian Cosmetology International Association. And also LinkedIn. And if they want to email me, my email address is drstella@outlook.com. If they want to call me, my number is 323-893-3380. Thank you so much. This was an honor.
That's beautiful.
And
Thank
a privilege
you.
and a pleasure to be on your show. I've been so looking forward to it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And before you appear on the next show, we want to see your ad up on our screen up there. So Crystal will talk to you about how we can get your ad up there, okay?
All right.
And then
Looking
we have
forward to it.
James Wilson said, "Go ahead, Stella."
Oh, that's my grandson. That's my grandson.
That's your grandson.
One of them.
Well,
We're going to
thank
take
you
a
very
quick
much.
break, and we'll bring up our other guests. And this is another guy that's in the industry that is just moving with light speed.
Phenomenal.
Especially since Black Panther made its way and became the top selling movie. So we're excited to have him on the show as well. So we'll be right back.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186. Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal,
Dawn,
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And Crystal, who do we have in the studio here today?
We now have, this gentleman has been crossing all of our paths lately, but he is participating in the digital marketing class, and he is just so talented. We have a lot of talented people that we get ready to help make millionaires.
Star performers.
And then I know he's in your class.
Oh, yes.
And so you're teaching him how to really build the foundation. So he has no choice but to be great. So we have Mr. Clint Duran Johnson, a native of Los Angeles. He's a blend of a writer, an illustrator, designer, a poet, and a minister. He earned a degree in visual communication from LA Trade Tech. He was enrolled in numerous business classes over the years, and his artistry has graced comics, books, covers, children's literature, logos, and branding material. Clint is possibly best known as the creator of the comic character Matthew Cross, Faith Walker. In addition to that, Johnson is a hip-hop pioneer whose music group Dark Star predates NWA. And he is the CEO of a company called M25. I assume this is Matthew 25,
yes.
Verse 20, Media Inc., and is the umbrella and entity and operates in various creative areas. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
to the Business Zone. And before we get started, like I said to all our guests, we need to have your ad up here because we're all over the place. We're in Africa. We're all over the place. And what you do is phenomenal. So we need to get you up there. We need to get an ad up there for you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So the comic book industry, which is is around and been around since forever, especially with young males and black males especially. I know my brothers was into it. Not too much my nephews, but my brother was. But I'm very focused today on the capacities that our industries actually can participate in, how much money is actually generated in those industries, and then us finding out what percentage of that we can actually capture. I think we need to no longer think small, we need to think big. So in your industry, when I did the research, it is a $1.085 billion industry.
Nice numbers.
Now, with that...
Is that within the U.S. or global, worldwide?
That's U.S. And really has picked up because of all the superhero movies that are apparently being regurgitated in the world, actually, right? Mm-hmm. Black Panther just probably revolutionized that for black folks.
Records.
Yeah, ridiculous records.
Nobody saw it coming.
Right. So if you even take, and this is what I do with the kids, if you take 10 to 15% of that, that's a game changer, right?
Yes.
And that's how we need to look at our industries. If I get 10% of that.
10%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do a little bit with 10%.
Okay, now that we have set the standard, let's talk about what you do.
Okay, so first of all, thank you guys for having me here. I feel like I'm at home. So I got you on Tuesdays, and I'm with you on Wednesdays. And
you with me for the first time. What do you think?
Okay.
You missed me at the very beginning.
Amazing. Absolutely
and
amazing.
She is a guru in her industry.
But you know
She's
what?
amazing in her industry.
You're into fitness, right?
Yes.
So then you can help me get that superhero body I've
Absolutely.
always wanted when I was a
look
kid,
like an
right?
action figure that you can draw. And I love the Lord. I love the Lord.
That's right. And you know the Lord got superheroes.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. All right.
Okay. So Faith Walker, who is the inspiration behind Michael Cross Faith Walker?
So the concept of Matthew Cross the Faith Walker happened to me, and I'm going to date myself, and it's okay. This was back in 1990.
Okay.
So that would have put me in my late 20s. That's about right. At this time, I was a member of World One for Christ Ministries, First Apostolic Church of Inglewood. At that time, the late, great Bishop Turner. No, Turner took over later because he married Wanda, but it was Wayne Sylvester.
Ah, okay.
So it was Davis.
Okay.
So under Davis, the original Faith Walker concept came to life. So, like many young men, I left the club on a Saturday night. And
Church on Sunday morning.
church on Sunday morning.
You're not the only one.
You know what I mean?
I did too.
This particular Sunday, it's like the messages had Clint written all over it. So, I mean, it was like I saw angels and it was lightning coming through the sky.
Oh, boy.
So my little Batman comic book mind was reinterpreting the message. It's like, well, why aren't there Christian superheroes? And I don't even know if Bible Man was out yet. So I think I'm the forerunner to that. And so it was the concept of, here's a brother, and purple was the huge color back in the day, back in the 90s. And most ministries were really, really promoting the concept of faith, being faith-based. So Faith Walker came out of a faith-based message, and already having this ability to write and draw, because God had gifted me with that. Basically handed down. My father was an artist, so my father could write, my father could draw. So God said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you what I gave your dad. At this time, there was and she's still around, Annie Pierce. She does a lot in the community, and she had a newspaper we had met when I was 17. It was called Concepts. Fast forward, she had this paper that was called the Community Circle Clipper. So around 1990. Little old Clint goes to Annie's door. Annie, I got a concept for a comic strip. She said, what you got, baby? And so I showed her the Faith Walker idea, and she basically, in the spring summer of 1990, gave this character, Faith Walker, his first stomping grounds.
Awesome.
How did she do that?
Awesome.
So what she did, she was publishing a tabloid. And the tabloid was in this general area because Annie at the time lived right around the corner from this location.
Oh, okay.
So everything was going out to Leimert Park, up and down Crenshaw, pretty much hitting the African American community. And since I had established a relationship with Annie when I was 17, because I've been just drawing and doing my artwork for so long, the rapport was there. And I used to do this thing called Black Velvet and the Angel Force. I wasn't saved. The characters wasn't saved. and so that's a whole nother thing.
Black Angel and the what?
Black Velvet and the Angel Force. So Guardians of the Galaxy, but I wasn't saved. So we're going to leave that alone. And, so when she saw Faith Walker, she said, you know what, Clint, this has a very redeeming quality to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just high on Christ right now. And this is the influence. So Faith Walker initially is a street minister.
So why Matthew 25:20? That's about the talents, right?
That's about the talents.
The talents.
So the verse that got me when you summarize it is the God is saying, if you use what I give you,
Come on now,
I will multiply this thing. If you got 5, I'm going to give you 10. If you got 3, I'm going to give you 6. You take the one and bury it, then I'm going to cast you out. Now, what got deep with that? The man in that passage didn't get cast out for fornicating, lying, stealing, cheating. He got shut down because he took what God gave him and he buried
didn't do anything with it.
I said, oh, that ain't going to be me.
Wow.
I said, oh, no, wait, well, hold up.
Yeah.
Okay. So God blessed me with all these talents and abilities and gifts, and I'm supposed to use them. So I'm not trying to get on his bad side because I choose not to do anything. And that's the motivation for that.
See what you just did there? That was amazing. That's your story.
Amen.
That's your story. You see what I mean?
You just
That's
ministered.
phenomenal. Oh, yeah.
I'm about to cry.
Oh, yeah.
I just knocked everything over. But
It's not working anyway. Anyway, so what we do, and that's pretty much it. That verse set fire up under me. I mean, because I was already doing it. Okay, I love to draw, and I went to school, and been trying to be this entrepreneur before I knew what entrepreneur was. Always connecting up with different artists, always trying to find different clients to facilitate my artistic abilities. Prior to that, right out of high school, like I said, I was in rap groups. We're out here trying to make music, one of the first signed groups on the West Coast. So there's always been this entrepreneurial spirit, and it's always been based on a skill or a talent set. So that's the way it's always been.
So let me ask you this question. Do you find that your material is being accepted and embraced not only in African American churches, but also in the non-African American churches?
So here's the interesting story. With that, I'm calling it the Christian umbrella. Here we go. It's bigger than the black umbrella.
I know it is.
Bigger than the white umbrella.
I know it is, and that's why I ask you this, because when it's time for you to market, the strategy has to be in such a way that you can go across the board.
We've had the pleasure, and so I'm a part of a group that's called the Christian Comics Art Society. We are definitely a melting pot. A lot of my friends who are believers, they're Caucasians, they're Asians, they're Hispanics, they're men, they're women. So the common denominator has been Christ and creativity. And then we're a bunch of comic book geeks. Yeah. So, we going out to the San Diego Comic-Con, we talking about the latest Batman, Black Panther, Superman, whatever. And it didn't matter about your melanin or lack thereof. Okay. So you have this spiritual high that we're all on, and we're brothers. You might as well walk in the room and we singing Hallelujah, Kumbaya, because the colors didn't matter.
And I think the comic book world is that type of world, because that's your genre. It's just like the gaming world. They're gamers first, and everything else just, that's just part of the world, right? And I think it is truly probably a colorless environment. The gaming world is colorless because you don't never know who you're playing.
Right.
Which is a very good point, and I want to kind of re-emphasize what I'm saying about this. I don't want us to be caught sleeping, okay? Now, Black Panther, you remember how that went, right? So they created that. Filtered it through Disney. Filter it through Disney, you're going to get international acclaim. Influencer. So that's what I'm saying to you.
But wasn't Black Panther already a Marvel?
So the history.
No, but not as big as it is right now.
Yeah,
no, of course not. Well, Disney historically,
exactly.
Let's call them Midas.
Right.
Right. The majority of their properties they've borrowed from. I'll use that terminology. From pre-existing concepts and ideas anyway.
Right.
You trail back to any of their, from Winnie the Pooh, Disney didn't create Winnie.
Right.
Then the majority of their princesses, those are not Disney originated concepts. So Disney has the knack for, let me take it, let me filter it through my machine, let me dress it up, and let's everybody go make some money because that's what we do.
So the point I'm making here, and I want you to pay attention, the influencer. They are the influencer. So we want to, what you have is phenomenal, but we want to match that up with a powerful influencer to get it to where it needs to be.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
So all you influencers that's listening, we hot over here.
That's
we just
right.
need what you got. There
That's
you go.
right. Now, there is a gentleman that I want to introduce you to. He was at the breakfast on Tuesday over at the foundation. He used to produce what you do, the animated graphics for Anna Barbara. Is that what it's called?
You're referencing Leo Sullivan.
Leo Sullivan, right.
He's
that guy is like the godfather in the community.
He is.
And you need to be connected with him. And I want you to be connected soon because I think
it's a good mix.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So,
and I think because they're bringing since Black Panther, and I know there's a sequel coming out, and then after that they had the Marvels. It was another one that came out
Infinity War.
The Infinity War. So I think it's really, and when they actually they were interviewing people around the world. About Black Panther, and they were because it's huge in the Orient, in Asia, right? Japan is all about anime, and also Korea, and they were actually interviewing Koreans right after the show, the movie came out, and they were going, "Wow, that's not what we heard about Black people. This is Black people are absolutely beautiful.
See,
the women are gorgeous. They're this and that.
That right there is what I'm talking about.
And they were saying that we only have heard about Black people as white America has told us about Black people, but now Black people are majestic.
And the reason they embrace it is filtered through Disney.
Yeah,
you see what I'm
Disney
saying?
is an animator.
So no, not just that, because you have a lot of Black and minority animators too. But the influencer, you need to have that influencer who's top of the food chain to do this thing for you. Because that's why those groups embraced it.
Well, they gave him from the interviews. They gave us put us in the light of which we stand.
Sure.
Whereas if you look at just what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, who knew what we invented because no one's ever told anybody.
That's
If you only tell people that we're murderers and killers and whatever, the same thing they're doing with Hispanics now, that's what you see.
Right.
But if you see us in our real light and see what we really have done in this world, you're going, wow, these people are absolutely amazing.
Well, you know what though, Crystal? A lot of people know what we do.
No.
But because, no, let me finish. A lot of people know what we do. But because it's not coming through the lens of a certain influencer, that's why they ignore it. And that's what I keep saying this like 5 times now. We got to get this through the lens of an influencer, a top-of-the-line influencer. You see what I'm saying? Because what you just said about those groups,
right? But
true.
I don't think that's true from the research from being Black and doing. No, we're not ever put in the image of which we're never. So they only see
exactly. That's my point. I'm saying you and I are saying the same thing.
Same thing.
Right. We're saying the same thing.
Enough of the same thing.
But I don't know if we necessarily need a white influencer to make that happen.
We're not saying it has to be white.
I think we need.
We're not
He's just saying a big influence.
Yeah, a big influence, but it don't have to be
biggest
white.
one happens to be in this case happens to be Disney.
Right.
But social media has made it to where you can hook up with some influence from there and create your own.
Right. Exactly.
So we need to exploit some of those influencers on social media. media.
Right, exactly.
So what's happening? The world has changed.
Right.
As Disney is, as Warner Brothers is, they're still the big boys in the room.
Right.
That will probably never change. But as we're saying with social media, there are new tools as we're learning in our class. And Mr. Buchanan, as you're teaching business infrastructure every Tuesday night, so there's some new tools that accompany someone like me. There's a younger version of Clint running around here.
Right.
And all he needs is the right tools. And that boy and his little sister are going to be phenomenally dangerous.
Right.
Because they're going to social media now to look for people. They're not doing auditions the way they used to. They're going to see who's making an influence and making a mark on Instagram
and you know who
Twitter
started that? Netflix. Netflix started that, where you bypass the whole Hollywood clicks and all of that, and you go straight to social media.
But
that's what they do.
What's funny? See, Netflix didn't start off as a gorilla or an elephant.
Oh no,
they crept in and then they blew up.
Yeah,
and because their model was so different. See, Disney and Warner are these big massive ships. They're Titanic. They can't maneuver. They can't switch.
No,
and they still haven't switched over to the streaming model that's actually killing what they do.
Exactly.
So once again, this whole digital age has just leveled the playing field.
Right. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
I saw an interview today that it was for this year's Rock Nation, and it was in Africa, and it had all of the hip-hoppers, African hip-hoppers and entertainers and celebrities, and they were all there. And if you looked around the room, there was probably $1 trillion worth of money standing in that room. And they were all going, we're going to make a change in this world. There was Jay-Z was there, and Puffy was there, and
Nas.
Everybody. And then they had the African ones that were, and these were all in the entertainment and celebrity world. They were all celebrities. You had the African ones, you had the Jamaican ones. They had them from all over the African diaspora, and everybody in the room was black, and they were all millionaires and billionaires. I mean, Jay-Z alone, and then you take him and add him to Puff, they all had products and industry. So that's our real new influencers. Those, we set the trend for the world. Whatever our culture is, they may not like us, but you can be damned they are encapsulating on our culture and what we've created. Our clothes, our hair, our slang, everything about us is appropriated by everybody in the world.
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way. So these new guys, and I think Trump has done something for us that we would have never been able to do on our own, is he has woke us up. And he has woke the ones up that has money and realized we can no longer operate over there. We need to be they're buying up communities. T.I. just went and bought up all the buildings in Atlanta where he grew up. They're going back in, what's Akon? He put the electricity back in Puerto Rico. So these guys are now becoming those influencers because they got the money.
Which is good, and that's what we want.
And they have the followers, and utilizing social media the way it should be used. You know, you have influencers that come out of nowhere. Because they know how to galvanize
because they got
product.
the base, and that's why we need you to grow your social media, because your audience I can't get to, but if you plug my stuff in, they'll get to know me. That's why it's important.
I got 6 phone calls this week alone from people that have been watching me on social media, and one I ran into the supermarket, and she's like, "Oh my God, you were here last week." One young lady was from San Diego and called me. She says, "Crystal, I see you are really about social justice. And here's what we're doing down in San Diego. I got like 4 chapters of sororities and fraternities, and we're trying to make an inroad. Can you help us connect us to other people that we can make a change?" So social media, just in the little bit that I do, and I'm not even doing half, but I am posting every single day, and I'm posting stuff that's impactful, and now people from outside are starting to notice that. So, which is why so much money can be made digitally. Because you're creating, it's no longer about paper. It's no longer, it's about what you're doing every single minute and second online. Because whatever you did yesterday is already obsolete. They need to see and keep you in place right there every day. Am I right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Mr. Clint, what's currently is your marketing strategy? How you're planning on taking this to the marketplace, to people?
Beautiful question. So, as with the new information that I'm learning from you two, because it's actually influencing how I structure what I do now, I've been implementing a stronger social marketing presence, because I was like, okay, Instagram, that's cute. All right, man, I got people on Facebook. But it was never like, dude, these are numbers. Are you kidding me?
Right, exactly.
Go. And then I'm actually connecting up with a stronger artistic realm, which what I've always done. But because of the religious nature of what I do, I'm deliberately going after, pastors and mega churches and just individuals that are sensitive to what I do. That's the best way to say it.
Which is good. Now, since what you're doing is going to be on social media, which is an international platform, do you have your work copyrighted?
Yes, sir.
You have patents and all of that too?
So what we've done, okay, so this is the second book. Pass this around. This is Faith Walker in the First Watch. So the Faith Walker character, this is hilarious, will be 30 years old in 2020. Okay, so I was just a young guy scribbling with crayons doing this thing, right? And now, because of the internet situation, we're setting up to have more of a digital platform. Everyone's not going to go to bookstores. Bookstores, unless you're Barnes and Nobles, you're probably suffering as a bookstore. That's just the way the world's become. So now the content is digital even before we go to print.
Exactly.
So take your digital and get your digital on, right?
I already see who I can play in here.
Okay.
You're a superhero. You're a Dawn superhero.
Absolutely. You know I'm a Rolls Royce. It's called Dawn.
Okay.
So
I can be a superhero.
I really, really want you to protect yourself with this, because this right here is very easy to knock off. You see what I mean?
You know, it's funny. With that, everything in comic books is easy to knock off.
Yes.
Every comic book is literally a derivative of another. It's just
but if you get it copyrighted, the theme, the presentation. So if somebody copyrights you right now, somebody imitates you right now, then you can say, I was first to market and I was first to register.
Right.
This morning I was listening to, I think it was ESPN 710, right? So you've seen the Carlton, right? That song, they do the Carlton on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Well, there's a guy who said he wrote that. So he took them to court, trying to get rights to it.
To the dance.
But he couldn't, because the judge said it was a choreographed move, and that is not copyrightable. Wow. You see what I'm saying? So these are things, knowledge for us to learn and know about.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying with this right here, I want you to check it out and protect yourself, because this is millions, hundreds of millions of dollars right there.
So what's interesting with that, because prior to launching out as a visual artist or a publisher, because of my short stint in the music industry, I was copywriting my poetry and my songs. So that carried over into the art. So Faith Walker's been on the copyright since 1990. And then every time we produce something new, the copyrights are gone through. We made a big move a couple years back. We have a phrase that's called taking the light to the fight. So I actually have a patented trademark on a statement, right? Okay. And then for even greater legal protection, and that's just a whole nother world, I was sharing with you in one of our sessions about the whole being incorporated and the protection that corporations offer. Right. So I have been trying to stay laced up, battled up, shielded up.
Please do, because you copyrighted this in 1990, and it's usually good for 20 years.
No, so it's the life of
that's what they
told
you,
and then 75
years.
And
if they tell you that, make sure they give you the documentation to back it up, because copyright is supposed to be good for 20 years. So you have to do it again. So check it out.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah.
So you also have a curriculum for children.
So it happened this way. So with the popularity of the books, we're visiting different churches. We've had the pleasure of being over at Pastor Price over at Crenshaw Christian Center, and then we've been over at Bishop Blake's church. Not just the comic books, but we shifted, and I began to hire actors who are also Christians to play the characters. So we kind of gave them that whole Marvel Live experience, right? Where Faith Walker and Lady Virtuous and the chaplain, they're all running on stage and they're pumping the kids up. And we're using verses that were really appropriate for warfare. I'm more than a conqueror, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then the kids are going bananas when Faith Walker starts saying, "We walk by faith and not by sight."
Oh, wow!
And then the villain, good friend of mine, Henry, plays the villain. He's draped in all black. You can't even see his face. He's got chains, and the kids instinctively know good from evil because they're booing the bad guy, boo, boo, but when it's all said and done, there's the battle. The heroes utilize the word of God. And then, depending upon what ministry, I've always said, can we pray for the children? Can the kids come down to the altar? And it's amazing. The altar is flooded. You want to flood your altar? Have superheroes stand up in front of your kids and say, "Let's pray." It's amazing.
Well, actually, because when you think of Thor, there's already a spiritual piece to comic books anyway, because you have them all, and Black Panther was definitely spiritual. And there's numerous of all of them, right? Even with Superman.
Well, the funny thing about Superman was created by two Jewish boys.
Okay.
So there is a lot of Judeo-Christian
Exactly.
symbolism.
Yes.
In fact, what the family's name is El. So we have Elohim and so on, El Shaddai. So did they stumble on that? Or what them boys did they have something to say? So, and then often in times in comics, Superman is referred to as a Christ figure.
Right.
We know who the real Christ is, but this is how they, from time to time, market the Man of Steel.
And because they're fighting against evil, right? So there's a spiritual nature already that's there.
Yeah.
And so the thing that's actually pretty cool. Something I was going to ask, the one to watch is the young man that's with the that has the dance. What's the dance that he does? The floss. But they're now using it in the game. And he's suing. His parents are suing because that was his dance.
Wow.
And now it's part of that game.
Yeah,
so that will be the interesting to watch because there's a whole lot of money.
Which guy is this?
It's a young kid.
Skinny kid that was on Ellen.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's 15, and he was the one that created the dance, the floss, and now they're using it. What is that game?
They use it in a commercial.
LaRon, what's the game? What is that game? Because all the kids in the summertime were talking about it. The game, the popular gaming. The one that is in question about the floss, the dance, the floss. Yeah, Fortnite. So they got a lot of money behind them. So that will be the interesting on how that comes through the court system because the mother and his manager are really pushing. And he's like, I don't care. I'm 16. I'm just having fun. I'm making money. And mom and manager's like, that's, but we'll see. We have to see what that looks like. One of the, I don't know if you were in class a couple weeks ago. And maybe you were there when we were talking about Huffington Post.
Huffington Post, yes.
So, and they make 14 Huffington Post because they have collaborating writers that are all on that post. That's actually a blog. They make $14 million a month. So, you with your following, if you guys are all contributing to your blog. Then look what you could do as contributor to draw that kind of traffic because it's all about the traffic. So you actually should think about doing considering guest blogs, and then they come in and talk about their stories because you guys got the content already. And so instead of trying to, and you could branch off. I would even start mine as a contributing blog because you have the network. And then I would branch off because then you can bring your people with you.
Right.
So he can use the Huntington Post to tell a story with his characters.
He can create his own blog network.
So using the Huntington Post as a model.
And then you use all of your comic illustrators and everybody that you know, that young man that you brought recently, and all the talent you guys have, and you're doing your comic, and just create everybody could do a post every week. And remember what Armin said, it takes you 2 years if you're posting twice a month. But if you're posting twice a week, if you're posting 4 days a week or 5 days a week, because you got 5 contributing authors, then you can ramp up much faster. And you already got a following.
Yeah. I thought about something like that, but not quite that way. So that's good. This is good. I love ideas. Yeah. Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
and you know the beauty of this? You get a copy of this tape after that, so you can regurgitate. You can go back over it and say, "Oh, that's what they said."
Yeah, it's about money, and it's about however we can ramp ourselves up to make that kind of money, being creative and not being limited by fears that we can't. Yeah. And that's why Armin is giving us the secrets, and we have the structure, and you guys have the faith already. Yeah. So just ramp up and make as much money as possible.
Yeah, this is phenomenal.
You got to think bigger and broader. Yeah. We got to think like there's no limitation for us except for ourselves.
This is it. The only limit is the man in the mirror.
So I don't know if we asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you. So your go-to-market strategy, what is your go-to-market strategy?
So my go-to-market strategy, I actually have a distributor.
Yeah.
So I have a distributor for the books. Okay. And it was so funny because of our timing, because I'm restructuring so many things. Yeah. But what we're doing now is actually pulling together some of the earlier concepts, how every superhero has an origin story. Mm-hmm. So since Faith Walker will be officially 30 in 2020, right? I don't look.
I just love that name, Faith Walker.
Is him?
I just love that name.
I'll be 57 next
month.
Really? I'll be 56 next month.
How many superheroes do you have?
It's a 7-core team, so that team is 7, and then you branch out from there.
Okay. Yeah, this is one story.
Yeah, it's one story.
And how long is this? How long is this story?
Roughly about 100 pages.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this story here.
So this story, the art of warfare, basically centers around a victim villain. Mm-hmm. His name is Major Conflict. So Major Conflict is a product of military gone bad. He felt as though his platoon abandoned him. Mm-hmm. So then you take superhero licensing. He gets captured by this nomadic group, and then they alter him from flesh and blood like you and I to now he's pretty much a robot, prosthetics, all that kind of stuff. Mm. So his humanity's been stripped from him. And there's his anger, there's his conflict. With that, the Faith Walker characters are brought in because now this guy has attacked Faith Walker's hometown, which is called Los Cosmos. Mm-hmm. So you got Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and
I love you
got Los Cosmos. So
you got a great mind, man.
I'm having a ball. So with the Faith Walker characters, Faith Walker's team, they're called the First Watch. The funny thing is, they're an elite group of believers who all have different superpowers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're already with one accord. And most of the villains, if we put the spin on it, this is kind of like Scooby-Doo meets X-Files with a whole lot of Sunday morning going on.
Right. So do their superpowers, do their powers kind of coincide with Ephesians?
Their powers, to a degree.
Okay.
So we have Faith Walker. Obviously, he walks by faith, but then also he has this amped up spiritual discernment, to the point where he can actually read the hearts of men. Okay. Then you have Lady Virtuous. Lady Virtuous would probably be my version of a Wonder Woman character.
Is that me? Lady Virtuous.
I knew she would be claiming that.
You saw that? Hey, name it and claim it, right?
Is she cute? No, I'm just
all the girls in the book.
Okay, great.
I mean, all the women in my family are cute.
Okay.
So that's how we do that one. And then we have Prayer Warrior X. He's an Asian character utilizing the martial arts. But he has this incredible sensitivity for prayer and meditation. So it all begins to work together. Then you have the chaplain. Chaplain takes on like a David type character because he's a warrior, but he's a warrior for Christ.
Man, don't give away too much of your story, man.
Oh, no, that's good stuff.
I think you need to be going on Netflix right now and talking to these guys about a deal. You see what I'm saying? Because you got the stuff ready.
Did you go to Comic-Cons every year?
Comic-Con. I have done, in the last 20 years, I've probably done 17 Comic-Cons.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You're
that's
ready.
just, and now I'm that little boy who somebody put a stack of comic books in front of him when he was 8 years old. It's like no turning back. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, so it just
ready,
went going. We just kept going.
And you've been drawing since you were a child?
I was a child. I tell the story. I had crayons, and I was probably drawing on the wall. And y'all from black homes, your mama don't play that, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Did you ever go to? Did you go to school? Did you learn? Did you fine tune your craft? Or
well,
you just...
okay. So the fine tuning came through so I was born with the gift.
Mm-hmm,
right?
Absolutely.
So and then I've always mastered. I was always one of the best kids in my art classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's because what's Clint doing? He ain't doing nothing but drawing. That's all that boy do. He just draw. Bless his heart. Boy, do you do anything else? No, not really. I like to draw. So, but then I did go to LA Trade Tech, and there I took their visual communication, which was graphic design, some life drawing, and some other elements. And then I also took a class over at El Camino, and I'll never forget Jack King. That was an advertising design class, so that kind of put me in a different mindset with what you could do with the artwork. And I still draw. I was actually teaching a comic book class over in Inglewood at a charter school, and so I am continuously pursuing this thing.
You need an agent, man.
I probably do. I do.
Let's do it. Let's talk. Let's
talk.
Let's
you
talk.
know, and on that note, let me say this to all the artists that are listening.
Yeah.
Traditionally, an artist needs to be in a place where they can create and do their thing. Not saying being ignorant to the business.
Right.
Have someone that meets them where all the information is there.
Yeah.
But you need that other person who says, man, an artist almost needs somebody who looks at them as a cash cow and believes in them. We're just going to break bread the right way.
Right.
And with that reality, everybody wins, because the story of Walt Disney and his brother Roy, all artists, probably not a whole lot of business sense, which is how that goes. Yeah. But his brother on the other end, well, you see where they are now.
Yeah.
So
you got to have the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Right?
You better have the yin.
And that's why I'm saying you're in love with your
nice.
craft, which is good. Now we need to match that up with the management piece, the talent, the agent.
Look at him getting
You
all
see what I'm
excited. He's
saying?
trying to, he looking at you as a cash cow.
Well,
that's that cash cow look.
He's over there licking his chops.
Can you draw
I'm
people?
telling you.
All day?
All day.
That good work?
That's beautiful.
That's a little boy that I met. Isn't he beautiful?
That's nice. That's beautiful.
Have you been over to the Pan African?
I have not been to the Pan
Ardina's over there.
Okay.
And Denise is over there.
Okay.
They're all from our class. And there's a number of our the artists that are actually they have vendors over at the Pan African. But you need to go down. Just beautiful stuff. Just
gotta go.
Yeah. So
when does it end?
Monday.
So if you can make it this weekend, man, one connection is all you need.
Yeah,
one connection.
From all the way, even from some.
Well, you've already made this connection, so
right.
maybe two connections.
But I will say this before we close, is that I think what your message and I think what Stella's message is, sometimes there are churches that are having trouble filling pews because whatever we need is sometimes not in our churches. And I think for kids, I remember I grew up at Fame, and there were some things that Reverend Murray did over there that's why we had that large congregation, is because it drew us in. I was in my 20s and I was at church like every day. Bible study was like the hit of the whole entire city, not just our church, but everybody came to that Wednesday night Bible study. But I think, things that give our people hope, and then at the same time, developing skills so that they can take their faith and then actually create something, and then they can change how our communities look from the inside. And I personally think that's church's responsibility for us, is to help us reach our highest potential so that we can then be the best people that we can be. And those of us that are sitting in this room that grew up in churches, that's why we are who we are. Because that seed was planted and we actually happened to be in the right place, in the right congregation that shaped us into people that want to reach out to other people. And that's the message that should be still delivered today.
Amen.
Well said.
Amen.
We're at the top of the hour, and it's amazing how time flies.
It does. We had some fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Stella.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you.
I just want to see everybody at the top myself.
Well, I just want you guys to plan your next move. What's your next step? You see what I mean? Next step in your process, you got to do that, plan it out, and execute on it. Because you guys have gold mines right now. Don't sit on it too long. You just put this on the air right now so people are hearing about it. There's some person out there who's talented is going to go, I could do the same thing, and, take your story. You never know. So let's take the next step and monetize this thing. Okay?
All righty. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Well, we have completed another Friday. Next week, we have another great guest. This has been one of phenomenal Black History Month that's going to extend to my Black History year. That's just who I am.
So
and I'm much more vocal about it nowadays than I used to be.
So what if somebody wanted to reach me? Can I?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can reach me on Facebook at Clint D. Johnson. I'm on Facebook. And then the Christian Action Heroes that we talked about is the ChristianActionHeroes.com. And then if you want some artwork done, that's ClintDJohnson.com. I am also on Instagram at Christian Action Heroes, and then my other Instagram is Clint D. Johnson Creative, and I think those are the ones I get to. You can email me at Clint at M as in Matthew 2520.com, and that's the best way to reach me.
And they can also see this video of you on YouTube if they go to YouTube and type in the Business Zone with Gilbert, well, Crystal and Gilbert. It will be there. So make sure you guys.
I'll make sure you guys get your a clip of each one of your sessions.
Yeah.
And then you can use it on your social media.
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys. And so we're going to Don. How do they reach you?
You can reach me on all social media at Dawn, D-A-W-N, Strozier, S-T-R-O-Z-I-E-R, and real soon in the superhero book.
And what's your name going to be in the superhero book?
Dawn.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
Dawn.
Is it Luscious or?
No, that's me. I'm
you're Luscious.
Yeah, I'm shimmering champagne in my burlesque life. You can reach me at Crystal on YouTube. Actually, Crystal Mitchell on YouTube, Mitchell Business Solutions, and the Business Zone, and Recycling Black Dollars, Pinterest, but the Business Zone. Anywhere you want to find us, we're out there. I do have a QuickBooks class coming up, so reach out to me, and you can just reach me on Facebook and instant message me, and I will respond immediately. And
it's Gilbert at thebuchanangroup.net. Just go ahead, send me a quick email, or you can call me at 626-533-1186. We've got our final class coming up this Tuesday at Vermont Slauson Economic Development Center at 1130 West Slauson Avenue. And this week we're going to go over some contract compliance summary, and also give you an overview of how to access Small Biz Pro, the compliance software and record keeping software. So that's where we're at. We're 5 minutes past the time, and
so we'll sign off and see you guys.
We want to thank all of you for watching today. We're on every Friday from 3 to 5. Tune in at morrismedialive.com, and we're good to go.
Yep. See you next week. Have a great weekend.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.